Alright guys, and welcome back to another video. So, the last time we had the EK on the dyno, it was open header, it had a open intake, and it was on 93 octane only. So, if you guys watched the test drive video, you guys now know that there's an exhaust, and now that we have it on the lift, you can actually see what I built here. It is full 3-inch mandrel bent, it goes all the way over here, and then once we get to the front over here, I don't know how well you're going to see that in the video, but there is a 2.5-inch catalytic converter that is high flow, that is butt welded to a megaphone that goes from 2.5 to 3, and then the 3-inch megaphone is welded straight to the 3-inch exhaust. So there should be no header leaks, the exhaust should be nice and quiet. And another thing I did was the car has the air filter, a water overflow, like I always do. I just use little bottles, it's nothing crazy. And I checked the oil. We were about a half quart low, just threw some oil in it because I really haven't checked it since I fixed all the stuff on the other side of the motor. The distributor, if you guys haven't watched any of the videos, the only thing that's wrong that went bad in this eBay distributor was the crank position sensor, so we swapped it out for an OEM one. But other than that, this is the $600 H22, and the reason why we have it on the dyno is we want to see from open header to full exhaust if we gained or lost any horsepower. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and stay tuned. Alright guys, so we got the EK on the dyno strapped down. We're getting some temperature in it. You should never do a dyno pull with the motor 100% cool. You should at least have the oil and the coolant and the transmission with a little bit of heat in it. You don't want to kill the bearings for no reason. But we actually have two people in the shop now. My brother's over there with the camera, so we'll have good angles of both views. Sorry about the last video when we didn't have angles of both views. I was trying to do it by myself with the juke, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's get into a power pull. Guys, we're gonna do a third gear pull, see what she does. Alright guys, so we made a whole 178 horsepower and 145 foot-pounds of torque, and this is the best dyno pull before open header versus what we just did right now. And you can see literally before Vtec crossover, the air fuels right here are pretty similar. I'm down 1 point or a half of a point, but once I hit Vtec, before I was in the high 13s, mid 13s, where a lot of the tuners I've spoken to told me put it in the 13s and it should make good power, but with the cat and full exhaust we are all the way down to 11.2. So either the exhaust is that restrictive, or yeah, we just got to fix the tune. But I'm gonna pull the laptop out right now. We have a S300 in it, so I can easily fix that. But yeah, 194 to 178 and 160 torque to 145. All right guys, so basically what I did is I went in here to the fuel table. I pulled 10% out up top. Like I said, the car was on 112 and it now has a 93 back in it, so that's also, like I said, with full exhaust and intake with an air filter. So that took me from 11.0s to 11.8s. So I went and pulled out another 8% up top. Hopefully we can get the air fuels somewhere in the 12.5s to 13.0s. Alright, so that took us to 12.2 to 12.5 air fuels. So I pulled out 4% more fuel. I'm not touching the timing. The timing seems to be pretty good. But the Vtec crossover was a little bit rich. It was down in the 11s. So I pulled out 8% at Vtec crossover. Let's see what it does. Alright guys, so what I did was that made it mid 13s. So I added some fuel back into it, and it looks like the Vtec crossover, now that it has an exhaust, you won't be able to see the graph, but I'll show you at the end. The low cam is still climbing when Vtec pops, so the horsepower just looks funny. But I just pulled 2% and moved Vtec up 200 RPMs. So let's see what it does. Alright, so what we did was move Vtec up another 200 RPMs because it liked that, and then I cleaned up the fuel at the Vtec crossover, because before it was in the 11.8s, and then after Vtec it was in the 13s, so it should be a smoother transition. So where I had pulled 2 degrees the last pass, I just added 3 degrees in the upper. They made the same power and torque, but the air fuels had got a little bit richer. So we'll add a little bit of timing back, lean her out, and hopefully we can make a little bit more power. I'm happy with the 180 with full exhaust, but let's see if we can make like a little bit more. guys, so I'm pretty content with how the tune turned out now. 194 was on 112 gas, open header, 160 wheel torque. As you can see here, air fuels were in the 14s, which is kind of sketchy when you're open header, but I was told by the tuners that you can't really judge the air fuels when it's open header because the exhaust has no end, so you kind of don't have any restriction behind the header. So I got the air fuels down to 12.7s, pretty much holds mid 12s all the way across the power band and Vtec. And our power output is 180, 152 torque. So with a catalytic converter, a full exhaust, and a muffler, from going from 112 back to 93, we only lost 14 horsepower and 8 foot-pounds of torque.